or some shit.
I mean, BoxRec is kind of unreliable sometimes. I don't know if I go by their fucking rankings because I swear sometimes they're like batshit crazy with some of their stuff. But um, I mean, I think ESPN is probably the closest one that I would probably rely on. I don't know. BoxRec is kind of janky lately.
Damn, how times have changed. Are you serious right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
Hi,
dude.
You know,
everybody. Welcome to
when I first
FightNet
came out,
Radio. What are we in the middle of the discussion? I
when I
went to go
first
get
came out,
water.
was the holy grail of boxing records. Like everyone used that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Oh, I've always said I personally like the IBO site because it does it by computer.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
just, and I know you hate that. I know you hate the IBO.
Unfortunately, no one else likes the WBO site.
No, IBO, not WBO.
Oh,
The
IPO. It's
IBO.
just
IBO,
it's ran
IBO
out of
is
the guy's
computer.
apartment.
Yeah. They're the ones who use the computerized thing. And who are we talking about?
Estrada, Gaito Estrada, like Andrew was searching for him on BoxRec, and he's like not even ranked. Like he or somebody in his crew got COVID before his fight with Chocolatito back in March, and then like haven't heard from him since. He hasn't even been on there. And then Andrew was searching for him on the rankings on BoxRec, and he's like nowhere to be found. So I was asking Andrew, is it like do they have him ranked like
It's like
champ
me.
and
It's
then the
like me.
number one
We're
dude?
just dead.
Oh, just fall off the face of the earth. No,
Yeah.
no, Lee, you're still here with us. You're still with us, and therefore we
Usually I am.
suspect Chocolatito
Do
is.
you?
I mean, what's his name? Gallo. Yes, yes.
Uh, well, let's start off a week ago because we have not talked about Artur Beterbiev
Hmm,
in what I would only say was a squash match.
hmm.
Like, why didn't you just walk into the ring and hand him the belt? Like, I've never seen somebody not fight like that in my life. Like, literally, he took a beating.
Hmm.
Tell me I'm wrong. It was not a good scrap. You promised me a good
Hmm.
scrap.
We've all watched Joe Smith Jr. and we've seen the kind of heart that he's displayed before, and we've seen the kind of punching power that he's displayed before. So, based off of that, I thought, okay, well, yeah, better be if he's got some pop. But when Joe Smith starts throwing his own shots, I was like, all right, well then, we're gonna see something different. Well, that never happened. And what's his name? Andre Ward said it a couple of times, and I kind of like I don't like saying this about professional fighters, but he kind of made it seem, and I think he actually said these words that Joe Smith Jr. was kind of scared after he felt the pop. He was like, "Oh shit, this guy's pop is I can't take it," and then from then he just wilted, and then from then it was just all downhill. And I don't like saying using that word with professional fighters. I mean, like, yeah, I'm sure to some degree they all are, but it's like, he, damn, like that will just left him. Like he was just there was no competition as soon as I don't like how many rounds did it go? Like 4 or 5? I don't know, but uh, 2. Oh Jesus Christ! So yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I think it went two, Miguel.
oh was it?
Yeah,
Jesus.
and I rewatched it twice because I
Oh god damn.
like it was so bad that I thought, all right, he's not throwing the fight. Does he just suck? Like I don't like I was
Yeah, I mean, come on, you guys, give him. Hey, wait a minute now.
Hmm.
One, you're taking way too much credit away from Better Beef, Lee, on what he was able to do to Joe Smith on that night. Smith is a veteran in the light heavyweight division. He's fought in everyone. He has wins, he has losses, but he's durable. He's a good, like Miguel just said, he shows up to fight. That's why
oh
I was
no,
very interested.
he's legit. I got no
He was
joke
legit, man.
on
He was legit. He
Joe
deserved that
Smith was
shot,
not legit. That was
and he got walked through. Now, wait a minute, though. The guy walked through him. All right, that happens. There's bad, sometimes styles make fights. Well, guess what? Better Beef has that style that has knocked out all 18 opponents in his career. He has that style. That's that man.
well,
Okay, so
I'm
it
going to
might
say
not
this for the
be.
record. Canelo should never get in the ring with this monster.
They're never going to do that fight. Canelo don't belong in the light heavyweight division. He never did belong in the white. Canelo was chasing greatness because of the defeat to Floyd. We all know what Canelo was trying to do there. It's over. He can't play with these guys. They're too big. No, the winner of that fight was going to be the face of the division, and I think that exactly happened that night. That's exactly what happened that night. The winner is now the face of that division. Bivol could have a win over Canelo. That is going to be more because of styles and circumstances. What happened on that night was just Beterbiev just looked like a different person in that ring. When you put two champions in there, Beterbiev was just superior. His speed, his boxing, his movement, the power, the absolute power, both hands. Oh, and I think the crowd, you guys, I think the crowd kind of got to Joe Smith. He had a lot of family and friends there. I think when he got hurt, he kind of like something clicked in his head where he just threw out his game plan and thought, all right, I got to knock this dude out, man. I can't go out like this. And that was a bad choice because Beterbiev is just so good. You don't want to fight him hurt. You can't fight that man hurt. He tried and he got knocked out.
Who's got the WBA title?
Bivol.
So we're down to Bivol and
it's on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's on.
I mean, we still got Ramirez in the picture, but I mean, he doesn't have a belt. It's really just between Bivol and Beterbiev.
Okay. It absolutely might be the greatest light heavyweight fight ever formed. I mean, they're going to have to look at that. You have one man who's coming in off of a win over the pound for pound fighter in the world, the best pound for pound fighter in the world. The other guy's coming in with the undefeated 3 titles and 18-0 and 18, 100% knockout ratio. Very rare the light heavyweights have ever seen this before, and that's even with Roy Jones there.
It's exciting. I actually enjoyed what he did. The rest of the card sucked, as always.
Yeah, no.
Why do we let's catch up on some stories. Believe it or not, in 2 weeks, there are only 8 stories worth talking about. Tim Tszyu wants to fight Charlo, but I'll fight some dude named Mazzarella. Like, he's hilarious. He will face anybody, anywhere, anytime for any of the belts, but he really wants junior middleweight Jermell Charlo. Like, Tzew's not ready. Tim's crazy. I think he's crazier than his dad. Why do you jump all the way to, I'm going to fight Jermell Charlo? Last time I checked, dude's got 4 belts, and you're not in his league. And what I saw out of Charlo was an elite level fight. Like, he made a jump in his game when he took those belts. Do you think Tim Tzew's ready for that, Miguel?
No, I don't. Especially, with what we saw in that previous fight, he even getting dropped early. You can't make those mistakes. Again, it was a mistake, and it's the kind of thing like that's one of the reasons why you don't necessarily want to look at a fighter's mistakes necessarily, because they can be corrected. You can't go into a fight, thinking he's going to make the same mistake with you that he did in the previous fight and bank on that. So if it's something that it be corrected, great. But he needs to show that it can be corrected first. He can't go from like making that mistake and then immediately going to somebody like Charlo. He needs to fight somebody else, so it's kind of shown that he can correct those mistakes before he even gets in the ring with Charlo. Charlo basically he cleaned out the division, right? I mean, he has got some people there, of course.
Undisputed.
It's going to be undisputed, right? So he beat all the champions. It's just a matter of the challengers that are good, and they're always going to be challengers, right? Granted, some of them aren't going to be as good as others, but there are always going to be fighters. There's always going to be fighters in the weight division, so there's always going to be somebody waiting in line, and that's pretty much what we have here. But for all intents and purposes, he's cleaned out the division. Anybody else at this point will be just a formality. And these guys, we still have the names, quote unquote, Fundora and Tim Tszyu. Those guys are still sort of kind of there. I mean, they're undefeated guys. They're young cats, and they're going to be gunning for those belts. So I mean, they're, I don't know, admirable, I guess. But I don't think either one of them are ready for Charlo at this point.
Andrew.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, watch what you wish for, I guess, when you're talking about Tszyu wanting to fight Charlo, because he's not ready. But you're also talking about a kid who's answering a lot of questions about being his the son to Kostya. Maybe he's trying to get out of that shadow a little too early. Thinks it's time for him to start his own journey.
I think Kostya was like 12 an hour, like 8 an hour, like when he fought Jake the Snake Rodriguez and took his first belt.
He
was
right.
Way early in his career.
Yeah, but also very big amateur, right? Olympic. winner.
And it wasn't like he was pressured into it. Like it looks like we're kind of like Sue is kind of, even if it's by his own admission, like him being pressured. Nobody pressured Zoo into that fight with Jake the Snake, but it just so happens he was ready for it, right? And he threw him in there, and he was ready for it. But I think this is kind of a different story because he's feeling a little bit of pressure to step out of that shadow too soon.
There you go. Aram is optimistic that Fury will fight. Okay, so I watched. Did anybody else watch the interview with in England with Tyson Fury? He did a full half hour with his wife on it's on YouTube. It happened this past week where he basically said the guy who used to be on CNN is a host now back in England, but Tyson said, I will pay you $1 million. I will pay my wife $1 million before I come back to boxing. He goes, I'll only come back for $500 million.
Oh, shit.
That's a lot of money, kids.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's ever made. Floyd and
So
no,
made three.
De La Hoya?
325. He made
the gimmick fight between
Jake, like Logan Paul?
No, not Logan.
Come on, dude. It's Floyd versus Manny made more money
Connor.
than anything else.
Connor?
In
Yeah,
Floyd
Connor.
life.
I thought Connor was 300 or 400 million apiece. Some crazy number.
No, not at all. Don't start rumors. Conor McGregor made 300 million that night. Don't start rumors.
Not that much.
So
but that's still a fuck ton of money. Come on now.
It's a fuck ton of money. All right. I honestly think that if you dropped 100 or 200 million in front of him, he's coming back. Mm-hmm. He's not talking Ngannou. And I love that Bob's optimistic. What do you have to say, Bob? I would love to do that fight. Okay. Depending on Ngannou's who knows? By the way, apparently Bob's got a cold with me. Not quite our Bob yet, but maybe next week. How much would it take to get him back? I know he said that bullshit, and I know that he said he'd pay his wife $1 million and the reporter $1 million, but like he goes, what do I care at that kind of money? Like, I'll give you guys $1 million. What's $1 million out of that pile? The question is, what would get him back out? I think Ngannou's easy money, and I think that's how he sees it. So he'll take an extra 100 million for sure. How much could he possibly make fighting Francis Ngannou?
Well, I mean, it's a sideshow fight, right? I mean, like people still tune in to watch those sideshow fights. I mean, it's not. We're not talking about Floyd against his former sparring partner. We're talking about two dudes. Ngannou, who's I mean, as far as I understand, still the heavyweight champ of the UFC, and he hasn't left or vacated it, at least not that I've heard. So we're talking about two champions in their respective sports going at it. I mean, I guess it would have to depend on what like the rules are going to be, but I mean when Roy Jones and Mike Tyson was announced, no one gave a flying fuck about the rules. No one just like, oh shit, they didn't know it was going to be an exhibition. They didn't know it was going to be headgear or no headgear or how many rounds. They didn't give a flying fuck. People are going to tune in to watch because of their names, and that exactly is what will happen with that. Rather than I'm sure once they're tuned in, once they've already paid for the pay-per-view and they find the rules out, they're like, oh, what the fuck, this blows. But it's too late. They already paid for the goddamn thing. There's no they can't.
Yeah, once you're in, you're in. Yeah, once you pay, you pay.
So I mean, there's really no point at that point. But it's just, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be some more savvy fans are gonna be like, hold up, what are the rules? Maybe I'll pay for it, maybe I won't. But for the most part, the general fans, the casuals are just going to tune in. They will order it just because they know the fucking names, right? But I mean, damn, 500 million, goddamn, hell no. Like I don't know where the fuck he's getting that number. I mean, it's one of those things where he's just like overpricing himself to be like, all right, let's see if they can do it. Let's see if they can pull off 500 million, because then I just grab myself a humongous payday. But I mean, come on, that's not obviously going to happen. But it's going to be a nice chunk of change if you fight someone like Ngannou, even in the circus that it is going to be.
Andrew, would you pay for it?
It'll be 350. You tell them 500 and they'll come in at 350 and you'll take that and still make more than you made on your last contract. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on, you guys, he made 125, I believe, on his last contract. He's still undefeated. He's bigger than what he was when he signed the last one. One thing Fury needs to be worried about is staying out too long. You know, how long is he going to be this hot? The guy's on peak form when you talk about his health, right? Physically, where he's at right now, he looks the best in his career. So he doesn't want to stay on the sidelines too long because that money, it won't be there when you try to come back. At least not that much. He's still going to make over 100 million, but it won't be what he's asking for. The Ngannou fight, I really haven't heard. This fight has really died down. I haven't heard anything about it.
No, they keep talking. The talk this week or the past week was, am I wrong? Joe Joyce, like Joe Joyce and in Wembley, it'll do 100 million.
With that fight being made or trying to be made, it would need ESPN's backing to really make those guys the kind of money. I don't think UFC putting that just on one of their pay-per-views would make that type of money. So that you need ESPN. That means Dana needs to come over to ESPN. I don't see it happening.
Well, he already is at ESPN. Like all the UFC cards are, I don't remember what specific year it was, but they went from Fox to ESPN. So they are already there. It's just a matter of getting the deal together.
Oh, well then, you know what? And I absolutely forgot that. That's on ESPN Plus all the time. You're right. Mm-hmm. So yeah. All right. Well, then there's a potential it gets done. If ESPN wants that to happen, it gets done. Once again, though, I think the MMA should be done with the boxing thing. Unless it's, I know I'm jumping ahead, but I do like the Diaz coming over to fight Paul. Now that would be an interesting fight.
I actually have that story. I love Nate. Just straight up. I want to go beat the MMA.
Yeah. No, wait a minute. This is about Nate Diaz saving the MMA, guys. He needs to come over here and he needs to put a 209 slap down on fucking
the Stockton slap.
The Stockton slap, whatever he needs to do. He needs to really do that shit to this guy and get him to stop picking on fucking the MMA world. You know what I mean? Talking shit, doing all that. Dude, Nate is the guy you don't want in front of the podium. He'll out-talk you. He's gonna out-gangster you or whatever. You know what I mean? Out-thug you in the
thug. He's a thug.
Yeah.
He and his brothers are just straight up like, I love it. I have bigger shit to do. UFC. I love the
see that turning into a Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya type promotions because we all know the Pauls aren't real. They're celebrity tough guys. They're boxing. Jake Paul or who's the one that is gonna fight Fury?
Jake. Yeah. The other Fury,
Jake
right?
Paul.
Yeah.
Jake Paul. He's earning it, but his brother's nothing but a celebrity tough guy. I see Nate running that whole promotion, so really interested on that fight. I know Dana already gave it a green light, so that's a good sign for Diaz. Hope he gets that boxing match.
Yeah, that'll actually be fun. Jumping back, we didn't discuss this. It's official. Rage on the Red Sea, Saturday, August 20th. Woo!
What's that?
Usyk versus Joshua.
Oh. Nice.
How exciting. Yeah. I don't know. And I've actually been looking at the buildup over the last couple of weeks for this. And what I find interesting is Usyk saying nothing, right? Like Usyk is like, I don't talk. Am I wrong? Joshua's getting trained by Garcia?
No, you're right. He's getting trained by Garcia. He landed, he won.
He lost. He lost.
Yeah.
He lost. He lost already.
Garcia don't train. He keeps you in shape. There is no Garcia style. Garcia takes you as a fighter.
I saw that happen, and I could not believe he was training with Garcia.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
Out Oxnard. What a nitwit. Is that where he's still out in Oxnard, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, yeah. I mean,
he hasn't moved, right? So
yeah,
Joshua's out there training his ass off for the next, God knows, 3 months. You're going to need at least 3 months to change style. To what? Get pounded? Oh, this fight is so wrong.
To not learn anything.
Yeah, and no, not even 3 months. We're talking about August 20th. That's a month and a half. Or a little under 2 months.
Yeah. Well, what's a training camp? 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
Yeah. But I mean, like with a fight this big, we've seen it happen before. Fighters, switch fucking trainers or whatever. I mean, he's already had the switch in mind from way before then, but to officially choose a trainer and then get used to their style, or and then have that. You would want to have a couple of test fights with that trainer to make sure that you guys are, when things aren't going your way and it's under pressure and you guys are in the corner and he knows how to talk to you, you know how you receive, you know how to execute what he's telling you. You kind of need a couple of fights for that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least I would assume that you would. Going into a fight this big with a new trainer for the first time is a pretty big risk, which, if it pays off, it pays off. But, I don't think historically it has paid off.
It's not going to pay off. Let's all be realistic here.
And
we all dislike Garcia.
I mean, we don't.
And it's not even. I know it's not. That's a strong one. It's not dislike. He just doesn't bring anything to his fighters. There is not a Garcia style. You don't look at the guys that he takes in and go, "Oh yeah, man, great. He's really brought that right hand out," or he's really. He
told
keeps
me like a trainer like Goosen. So he's going to learn to throw more punches. Like Goosen fighters,
Bernstein.
Yeah,
even Manny Stewart, even you see his style, in the ring. Yeah,
absolutely.
So he keeps you in tune. I'm not knocking the man as a trainer. Obviously, he gets fighters that come to his gym that trust him. But for Joshua, he needed change. He needs someone that's gonna get that was gonna bring out.
He should have went to Kronk. He really should have went to Kronk.
Yes.
And
they're the most successful.
Learn the jab right.
100%.
100%. There is no question where he should have won. I don't know why all heavyweights don't go to the Kronk gym and learn that jab right. I mean, and beat it into
6'4" or higher.
Right, exactly. Big dudes specifically. That's what we're talking about.
You can look at their wall and just know you're going to be successful when you see the wall of 6 foot plus fighters in their gym.
I cannot believe this fight, and I cannot believe it's Garcia. Oh well.
And I'm digging the fact that it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, because it's like usually it's going to be. I mean, for how it was with the Ruiz rematch, it was in the morning, and that night there happens to be a UFC pay-per-view as well. So it's like, oh shit, I don't have to be toggling back and forth and whatnot. I mean, yeah, I kind of wish it was somewhere else, but the fact that it's in Saudi Arabia, it's like, all right, cool. They had that same. I wonder if they're going to like build a new stadium the way they did with the Ruiz rematch or what the hell. And I'm looking forward to the build-up. I am. I mean, the fight is pretty big and it's a big deal. That first one was great as well, of course, and I'm looking forward to this rematch. And I'm kind of digging. I like that exotic feel going to like.
Neither of these guys actually talk. Like
no, they really don't. Yeah.
And sorry, Miguel, but I'm totally opposite on the Saudi Arabia thing. I really hope that this thing, this little pattern we got going on here of fighters wanting to go to Dubai for some reason, or it just slows down a little. I don't want them to be the Mecca. I don't have no desire to fly over there to watch fights there. I don't mind partying with them. They can come to America, Las Vegas. We'll party it up. New York, but I don't know, man. I'm like, another fight is going. You see it more and more. A lot more with the
money. I mean, it really ultimately comes down to what Usyk and Joshua want to make.
Vegas has money though too, Lee. I mean, there's only so much in the pot, and Vegas has it too. I know there's a connection between the European fighters and you see a lot more of their fighters that were going there first. Now you're starting to see a lot of PBC guys out there. So it's just like, I know there's money, but it's not going to be hot with the American fan base to be flying to Saudi Arabia to watch these fights.
But we can watch it on TV. And
that sucks. Vegas is crack. Lee, come on, Miguel. You live there.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I was fucking thrilled when they announced such. I'm sure we'll get to it on a later story when they announced the trilogy with Triple G and Canelo, which I'm sure we'll talk about here shortly. But it's like, oh fuck yeah, Vegas, yes, bam, thank you.
If you've ever, and this is for the fans that haven't, these fights are like Super Bowls, man. The big fights are like Super Bowls. A heavyweight champion unification.
And I personally think that they like them during football season. So if they can like double it up with like a football Sunday and a fight on Saturday, it's a home run in Vegas. And I know Vegas is actually hurting right now.
Yeah, the gambling. Yes, exactly, Lee. The gambling. Just the movie stars are out. Everyone's wearing their best outfits. Like No, I don't want that going away. I don't want to lose that to Saudi Arabia. It looks so boring out there, and those fans, none of
Oh
them.
no, they look like they go to the middle of nowhere to go watch a fight and then
Right.
leave the middle of nowhere. Like those aerial shots, I'm like, is that like
Yes.
just an empty field you built a stadium in? Like, I don't even understand that craziness. Well, let's segue to that. Triple G Canelo, Las Vegas. Migs,
Mhm.
excited.
Yes. I went to their fucking second fight, which is great. You know, I actually put some money on Canelo and won some money on Canelo, so that was great. You know, the whole experience and literally, you know, echoing what Andrew said. It's like that weekend, you know, that whole weekend, the week leading up to it, the grand arrivals. It really is. You know, granted, it's not a heavyweight title fight, but it's still, you know, a big name. It's the face, or at least still, to my knowledge, you know, the face of boxing with Canelo, even with the loss. But you know, it's here we go, another big, you know, big money fight. And you know, what is I think it's going to be whatever, Mexican Independence Day weekend, right? We're gonna go back to that. Hell yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, not that excited that it's Triple G, for fuck's sake, because I think we've talked about this several times, right? I feel to this day, I still think that it's a lose-lose for Canelo. You
It's
know,
a
yes,
lose, period.
minus the payday, we get it. I understand, right? It's another humongous payday.
He had to get
But
paid.
I mean,
He had to get paid.
realistically, yeah. But you know, he beats an old man. You know, well, he beats an old man. I mean, we're already hearing it. It's like, oh, you waited until now to fight him a third time. It's like, man, fuck. You know, it's going to be a lose-lose. And if he does lose, well, then it's even worse, the fact that he lost to an old man. I think the only way, you know, he makes it, like, you know, at least, I don't know, to some degree a win, is if he like really knocks it out of the park and, like, you know, clotheslines Triple G over the top rope type of shit, like knocks him the fuck out. We're like, oh god damn. Yeah, you know, he's old, of course, but a spectacular win like that would be like, oh shit, okay, god damn, you know, it's at the
Yeah,
very
like a
least
better
a
beat. I
highlight.
need I need a better beat
Yeah,
knockout.
a better beat, yeah, beat down.
I
Something
need
like
a
that,
beat
right?
down. Like, you're either gonna beat the shit out of him, but if you let Triple G go
I
12
know,
rounds
go
with
12
you
rounds. That's what I'm saying.
and
Even with a
leave it
win.
again to a
Ah,
decision, oh,
yeah.
bro, you need to go in there like better be and handle your scandal. Tell me
Which
I'm wrong, Andrew.
which might be even like leave Triple G. I'm sorry, Canelo
No.
susceptible to stuff. If he goes in there with that mentality, he might be more vulnerable. We might have a more exciting fight than, you know, the last two.
Andrew.
Yeah. No. Listen. One thing I didn't like what DAZN did starting this promotions off is they didn't use a younger picture of Triple G. Triple G looked pretty
They
damn
took
old.
they took a real-time photo. He looks like Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, you dumbasses. Don't you know when they're 40, you're supposed to put the 35-year-old picture up? The fuck?
They might as well use that filter that makes you look even older, and I
Yes.
put that motherfucker on there.
Same thing I do on Zoom. Always
They
put the
didn't,
filter
they
on.
didn't do they didn't do Canelo any favors there with the casuals that walked by and was like, oh, they're fighting again? Ooh, he looks old. That's what every casual said when they seen Triple G 4 years later. The fuck? Yeah, listen, we already seen Canelo's gonna take the bad boy role in this fight. He's coming to chip on his shoulder. He's mugging Triple G. Triple G's kind of just, you know, being Triple G, smiling. You don't give a shit. He's a don't judge a book by cover.
Just
kind of
happy
guy.
to be here and happy to take a paycheck.
No. But in the past, he's always smiling, and then he's an animal in the ring and kills you. Like, that's just who Triple G is. You do not judge him by his cover. You don't. He will smile at you, and then he'll knock your head off in the ring. So it's sort of what Inoue did to Nonito. Oh, those two were hugging that week. They were taking photos with family. That fucking bell rang. Inoue took his head off. So there's guys that are just like that. Triple G is definitely one of these guys. So you've seen Canelo. He's gonna play the villain. All right. So that's gonna be a kind of a love-hate relationship with the boxing fans. That's gonna turn some people against him, even the fans that used to like him. You know, if he starts acting this way, hey, get out of here, motherfucker, you know, talking that way and during the press conferences and shit. We'll see. He's got to knock him out. If he knocks him out, Canelo's probably the new bad boy of the super middleweight division, and everyone will be gunning him to take him out of the super middleweights. But to me, the fight's way overdue. This is. I'm sorry. This feels a lot like the Maldrick Taylor Chavez 2 rematch, where I think that happened 5 years after the first fight. just wasn't it wasn't as exciting. So we'll see what happens. But no, I haven't liked how Triple G looked in the last 2 years, probably of his fights. He does look like he's on the decline where Canelo hasn't. Even in the Bivol fight, I still, yes, he beat the pound for pound fighter in the world. It still seemed like more circumstances than it did that his skills were better than Canelo. He was just able to take nothing that Canelo threw that night affected Bivol. Bivol was 200 and plus pounds, and he wasn't getting hurt. And it was just a good big man beating a great small man. So to me, Canelo I didn't look at that fight and go, oh man, he's just old. That's it. He's deteriorating. No. Canelo's still going to be one of the best fighters, if not the best skills in the boxing world against Triple G, where Triple G's going in on obviously the decline of his career. I have Canelo stopping Triple G in the middle rounds. From right now going in, this is going to be, I think you said it last week, Miguel, when you were like, the worst thing that could have happened was Triple G getting Canelo after a loss. With the first round of these promotions, it really seemed that way. Canelo's going to go in this thing on fire, and I don't know if Triple G can match that.
No, I think he thinks he can match it, based off of his two previous fights, and that's where the confidence is coming in from. But I mean, it's not until you're actually in there and you realize, like, oh shit, my reflexes aren't what they used to be. Yes, these punches are hurting me more. And I forget what fight it was with Triple G, with one of those recent ones with I can't pronounce the dude's name, Sergey something, the guy with the long. Derevyanchenko, I think it was, and he got hurt to the body. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, oh shit, he got hurt to and you can tell he started backpedaling. It's like, man, we know Canelo's got great body shots, right? So it's like, man, if he catches him like that, maybe he Triple G still has the chin. Maybe he can still take it on the chin, but to the body, I don't know. So it's good. It's a fight that I'm looking forward to, yes, because it does bring that big fight vibe, that feeling to this week, to Vegas, of course, in that particular weekend. So Lee, we're gonna submit some credits for that one.
Yes, I already know who's going to be in charge of that, so don't hold your breath.
Okay.
Bob Arum had the greatest quote. So he's putting together Better Be versus Bivol. We're not doing it on Dead Zone.
Yes.
Nobody watches it. Oh, God bless you, Bob. God bless you and your hatred and just being an old man. I mean,
that was a good quote. That
my God.
When I saw that, actually, I was like, damn, throwing shots.
Nobody watches it. Oh my God. Yeah, I still say to this day that Bob didn't know about the ESPN deal. Like, that was somebody else in his camp. My favorite story of the week, Jarrell Big Baby Miller was fighting last week during the WBA's Kyoto Drug Festival in Argentina. Wow.
Oh, shit. He fought?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He fought on
my God. Whale?
Oh my God.
He's a fucking whale, you guys.
Wait.
Oh, I gotta see this now.
Wait. So first of all, the most drugged man in the history of boxing, who literally screwed his entire career up over, how many did we count? Like 3 different anabols? In fact.
Yeah, I was going to say 5, but yeah, I'll go with 3.
All right, let's just go with 3. And one of which I actually like. Like, I'm down with clenbuterol, but he had like 2 or 3 others in his system. He failed 3 tests. Like, they kept trying to retest him to make that fight happen. You went to Argentina to go fight in a KO to drug. God bless you, Jarrell. Like, pot, kettle, black. I mean, I'll move on, but that's hilarious. Next, Andy Ruiz is taking on Luis Ortiz, and it's actually a real thing. First of all, isn't Luis Ortiz like 100? Like at what point can this dude stop? So pay-per-view is going to start at 7 on September 4th. And it's a WBC heavyweight title eliminator. Oh, God bless it. Mwah. There's got to be a belt for this. I'm already excited. I guarantee it's Labor Day weekend. They're doing it in LA.
They did. No, there is. There's an American belt. You're right. It's an American flag on the WC title.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Wait, what? Why is there American flag? There should be like a Cuban or a Mexican flag, right? Got to make it all fucking half this,
Actually,
half
it should
that.
be
No,
a California flag. Why don't you do one with a bear? I mean, have fun with it.
I want to say Suleiman has already shown the American Freedom Belt or something. Yeah.
What a douche.
Man, you know what? Not to backtrack, but I just looked up the fight with fucking Jarrell. He was 341 pounds. Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
dude. Yeah, bro. Without steroids in that man, he looks like a whale. So now we know why they were juicing him.
Yeah.
He probably has all the skill in the world. They see, but he won't put down a fucking cupcake. And they're like, we need to do something. And so that's why he started taking steroids. Without steroids, Jermell showed
I don't know if he can fight in the States yet. I don't honestly think he can fight in the States yet.
It doesn't matter, Lee. No athlete lets themselves get out of shape. I'm sorry, they just don't. This man, he was huge, you guys. From what he used to look like to what he went into the ring looking like, because maybe 341 on steroids is all muscle and looks good. He didn't have an ounce of muscle on him. If you guys can pull up a picture, he's just a blob up there. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what you look like without fucking 5 cocktails in you.
We'll keep the numbers going. I like the 5. We're up to 5. Oh my God, he looks horrible. Oh my God.
Right? I just pulled it up.
Oh my God.
We were talking about fucking, Ruiz and fucking, what's his name? And Ortiz is like, all right, cool, heavyweights, back to heavyweights. And I was like, oh shit, hold on. I want to see what maybe Miller looks like. Dude, wow. I don't even know what to say.
And he got another fat dude. Like,
hey, the promoter.
That's like 1,000 pounds in the ring that night.
Hey, when he got off the plane, the promoter was looking at his fight pick, looking at, what the fuck is this?
He's like looking over his head. He's like, hey, where's Miller? He's like, I'm right here,
Miller.
Like,
no,
shit.
Feels like he just got fucking what is it called? Catfished on a dating.
Oh yeah, completely.
You've just been catfished. He did one of those like fucking Nutty Professor shits where he's like, stop drinking that potion and just blew the fuck up.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's good. We
Professor Clump. Professor
Nutty
Clump all of a
Professor.
sudden.
That's what.
Drugs. Way to go, Jarrell. KO to drugs. Go back to the drugs. I'm
go back. Yeah, that's it. If I was a kid, I'd be like, hey, you should go back to steroids.
Stay in Argentina, but we won't let you over here because you can't fight.
You
that
can't
shit,
fight here, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You can fight internationally.
Stay on the juice by all means, please.
Stay juiced, bruh. Holy crap, what a mess! All right, that takes us to King Kong Ortiz versus Andy the Destroyer. All right, so here we go. PBC sending one of the babes out to the woods to put a bullet in the back of their head. I mean,
I hope that you would hope that one of the loser goes
one
home.
or the other. I mean, one or the other. I mean, how many more heavyweights do they have left?
Not man. I mean, they have a few more, right? Hellenius, he's still kind of sort of floating around. Kawanowski's, I mean, at the very least, they're punching bags.
Yeah,
pretty much, right? Yeah,
right.
Fillers, exactly.
So
Besides.
what we're clearly setting up here is winner here gets a shot with, right?
I mean, suppose. Oh, no,
yeah, this is like the Deontay setup.
Oh well, I mean, it's supposed to be a WBC title eliminator, so I guess it would be. I mean, they're not going to get a shot at fucking Fury anyway, so yeah, most likely, Wilder.
It's got to be for Wilder. Soon they're going to make the rebuild. Wilder's already told the WBC he's coming back. He's already told.
Yeah, he went to Mexico. He had his ayahuasca. He's done all the talks. He flew out there. He's going to do it.
He had the trip.
Unfortunately for Andy Ruiz, this matchup is not a good one for him. Look, the only guy Andy Ruiz has beaten once in his claim to fame was a Anthony Joshua, who's not that great of a boxer. Then he doesn't win the rematch when Anthony Joshua does box.
No,
Luis Ortiz is definitely that type of boxer. Now, at the age of 45, 50, 55, whatever he is, I don't know if he has the 12 rounds in him. But 3 years ago, 4 years, no, I would have Ortiz the fucking clear favorite in this fight. he will stick and move. And Andy just isn't that type of guy. I've never seen Andy move for 12 rounds, right? So, and when he did it against Joshua, he lost. So this is a scary fight because everyone thinks Ruiz beats Ortiz, moves on pay-per-view, big pay-per-view with Wilder. And actually, I thought they should have went to that fight first. I think this is a bad move by Al Heyman. If Al end up losing this fight, you just add this to the list of just the time. Sometimes Al Heyman's timing just isn't right. He doesn't throw the fights off at the right time. If he loses Ruiz versus Wilder on pay-per-view, that's a huge pay-per-view. I'm telling you, that thing would probably do 1 million buys with the PBC fan base. With the Mexican PBC fans and the Mexican fans that follow Ruiz, Mexican Americans, and the PBC fan base that follows Wilder, I think that fight would do great numbers. It doesn't need a warm-up match.
Well, my comment to that would be, isn't Andy Ruiz with Garcia as well?
I know he left the Reynosos, but I don't remember where he landed. It might be Garcia as well. I'm not entirely sure. But
I think I want to say he went to himself. He's by himself. Like when it shows him, I don't remember seeing him with the trainer.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Oh my God, he went full Deontay and just opened his own gym.
Yeah, probably in the garage kind of deal.
The worst. That does not work out historically for fighters.
We saw how it helped Deontay.
It didn't help Deontay. Didn't help Chavez Jr. It doesn't help anybody to just start working out in your garage. Oh, no. But I got a trainer who comes over. Good for you.
Yeah. Comes over at noon after I wake up at fucking partying the night before.
Right. Oh my God, Andy, and he looks good. I mean, he looks great.
Well, as long as he can keep the weight off, I mean, that's one of the things. Even if boxing wise, he didn't improve per se with the Reynosos. At the very least, he had somebody looking over him and keeping his ass disciplined. Like keeping the cupcake out of his goddamn hands and keeping the menudo out of his fucking face and sticking with it and trying to stay in the gym and keeping a close watch on his intake. But without that. Now it's like, okay, well, who the fuck's gonna look over him and look after him and make sure that he doesn't end up, splurging and losing his shit? Because I mean, this is sort of, we mentioned a few seconds ago. It's kind of a make it or break it for Ruiz. He loses this fight because the 41-year-old fucking Ortiz, like he's gonna drop big time. Like he's gonna be going to Argentina and fighting people like fucking Big Baby Biller. So it's like it's not a good thing. He needs to really this is really a crossroads fight. I mean, for both really, but Ortiz is on the way out. He's already 50s, right? He's already on the way out, so it isn't so much a crossroads type of fight for him as it is for Ruiz, and he just really needs to keep I don't know who's in his corner, I don't know who's in his ear telling him what to do, but keep a close eye on this motherfucker because this is really his last shot.
Yeah, I agree. And for Ortiz, I love his whole I'm gonna keep battling and taking care of my sick dying daughter, and he plays that angle, and it's a great story. But bro, you're 100. Put it down. He should have brain damage, at least on the two Deontay fights.
Dude, that second KO, goddamn, the way the sweat just flew off of his head after that. I mean, in the 7th round of that KO with Wilder, it's oh goddamn, that was hard.
Late too, late ugly. What are you doing?
He did. Yeah, the look on his face. He's like, "What the fuck? Who threw that break?" It's no, bro, that was a punch.
All right. Which takes us to last night. Bam Rodriguez beats down, drop stops Sorvi Rungvisai in 8. We have a new guy. I assume today he's already elected pound for pound the best fighter in the world, because apparently if you follow that lineage of Estrada, Rungvisai, apparently in this weight division, once you beat one of these guys, you immediately... I'm surprised nobody's done it yet. I haven't checked, but I mean, Bam should be the new pound for pound king. Maybe I'm wrong. That's how this all started.
Andrew, you want to take this one first?
Well, I mean, he's not pound for pound, Lee, but at 22 years old, he looks like one of the best prospects that the sport's got coming in the next few years. At 22 years old, he's already beaten Cuadras and Rungvisai. Those are two of the best fighters. These guys have been putting on the best fights in this division. It's been very exciting for many years. He beat them both. Now he's going after Chocolatito and Estrada. Huge future for this young man. If you watched that fight last night, it looked sold out. They're all screaming. I've already seen the fight twice.
I've watched
It's
it
exciting
twice.
as shit.
Mhm.
You know, he's throwing beautiful just the technique that he shows. They keep putting Junior on the couch. Just watch him.
Yep.
Just his feet, his hands, his counters.
It was efficiency.
Yeah.
What I saw, right? So he knew when to just pitter pat, and he knew when to bring heat.
Sidestep. It's a beautiful move he had going on that old man. Hey.
And when he brought it hard. Holy cheese for a little guy. I mean, I don't know what it is about these particular 4 or 5 fighters that everybody gets excited about, but man, did he bring heat. I mean, the close to that
He's
fight.
Still throwing getting knocks in there, Lee. I see you.
Well, look, this all started a couple of years ago when we started declaring these guys pound for pound best in the divisions. Okay. Look, there's everybody take a breath.
Estrada is still there, though. Estrada is still number one. And these little divisions, and you'll go ahead next, Miguel. But these little divisions are really exciting right now. Just add Rodriguez's name to this list, and yeah, I hope these fights start getting made, because one division higher, we have the monster from Japan sitting there waiting for everyone to start gunning for him. These are going to be big fights, you guys. Estrada, Rodriguez versus Inoue. These are huge fights. And then Inoue versus Fulton. I know we already talked about that. These are huge fights for these lower divisions that we really haven't had an era of this many high caliber fighters there ready to take off. So no, I'm very excited for these smaller divisions.
I mean, I was a huge Carbajal fan, right? So I was totally into these lighter weight divisions, but there was never anybody for him to fight. Ever.
Yeah, that's right. And Ricardo Lopez, the same thing. No one around.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you move up. You go to the next weight division. These guys are tiny little humans, and they beat the crap. Like, it was a shocking beatdown. Like, I was actually surprised at how efficient he was. But boy, the close of that fight, I mean, he just ate him up and he was like a wet blanket on him. Tell me I'm wrong, Miguel. That was a strong close.
It was. I kind of anticipated that the first few rounds would look like that, because, you know, it's common sense. You don't want to stand and trade with somebody, a heavy hitter as a Soren Visay. So I figured, okay, well, the first few rounds he's going to move a little bit, right? And at some point, you know, Soren Visay is going to start unloading that left, and then we're going to start seeing a little bit more of an even fight in the middle, the rounds to the late in the fight. I did not expect, like, it almost looked like Rodriguez was stronger. It looks like his powers, his punches were harder. Like, just the way it could just be the fact that he was landing, you know, flush on Soren Visay, and that's why, you know, it looked like the punches were actually harder. But it just looked like there was nothing that Soren Visay could do to hurt Rodriguez. And keep in mind, Rodriguez is a small dude. Like, he took the fight with Cuadras as like late notice, right? It was like short notice, and he was a smaller dude. It's like 112 or 108 or whatever the fuck it was when he was smiling. And they offered him the fight there, so he's like, fuck it. So he took it, and he fucking took, you know, Cuadras to school, and now he's doing the same. He did the same with Soren Visay. So it's like, you know, the first thing that I thought of was actually what Andrew said earlier. It's like, oh shit, at 118 against, you know, the monster, holy hell. But that's still another weight division that he normally isn't in at, you know. So it's like, okay, maybe he's too small, maybe we're jumping the gun, you know. But holy hell, the way he took Soren Visay to school, it's like, holy shit. But it looked, you know, he looked great, obviously, right? The one thing that we forgot to mention, the jabs. Holy shit, those jabs were in Soren Visay's face all night. He did not give Soren Visay one fucking chance to do anything, to amount any sort of offense. He moved out of the way. The few times that he did clinch, it was just to turn him around and get off the ropes, and then he released, and then he backed away. So he wasn't the kind of guy to like try to nullify his opponent by simply holding on to him, but rather turning him around or backing away, and then, you know, getting just enough to like get away from the ropes. Right? Beautiful boxing, right? I was loving the sidestep, the jabs, the momentary clinches. But man, it was just such a performance. And I was texting my pops because my dad right now he's in Tijuana. So I was texting him, it's like, oh, because he didn't take his Fire Stick with him, so he can't watch it on the zone over there. So it's like, damn it, I'm trying to like text my dad kind of round by round, play by play shit. I'm like, dude, Rodriguez is putting on a performance of a fucking lifetime. It is perfect. He's damn near not getting hit. I mean, he got hit more with Cuadras than he did with Soren Visai, and he was able to stop Soren Visai, something that neither Chocolatito nor Estrada was able to do. And granted, yes, Soren Visai is on the downside, right? He's got however many fights he has. He's getting older, and maybe it really was on display, full display last night. But the one thing that fighters, even older fighters, the last thing that they tend to lose is their power. So I was expecting him to still at least, earn some respect in the ring and scare Rodriguez a little bit and be like, oh shit, I feel his power. Like, goddamn, he couldn't even do that. So, I wanted to get excited, because I love these weight divisions, but twice they asked Rodriguez, what he thought about, what was next after the fight, and twice he said no to Chocolatito, no to Estrada, right? No to anybody else, because he said he's going to leave that for his brother to take care of. So he's, I guess, from what I understand, he's planning to move back down, which kind of sucks, right? Because like the money is at the weight division that he is now. So worst case scenario, if his brother isn't able to handle business there, he can still be there. And let's be real, we want to see him against these fighters as opposed to his brother against these fighters. So yeah, I was right off the bat excited. I was nutting my pants at the possibilities of some of the fucking fights that they can have at 115 until he said, no, I'm gonna leave that to my brother. And it's like, oh, god damn it. Like, okay, I guess. But, maybe we get to see another one of these, Glenn and Nonito Donaire type of things where like Glenn kind of falls by the wayside and Nonito takes over. Maybe that's what we're gonna have here.
Klitschko's, and you can have two champions.
We'll see what he's saying when he goes back down in weight and they offer him 20,000 for a fight when he could be making
making $1 million, right,
to move up. So,
and those fights pay.
Especially the Inoue. We all know Inoue is going to be the big pay-per-view ticket here. This guy's coming over from Japan. He's bringing money with him. If one of these Mexican fighters from Mexico can get hot, this is going to be a huge fight in Las Vegas. This fight will land in Las Vegas because there's money on both sides. Vegas will be interested, and it's a start to a great career.
Texas is coming strong. I mean, we've had a lot of big fights.
Yep.
And they sold that fight out. It didn't look empty to me. I didn't see really empty seats. Like the kid brought it.
Yeah, I haven't seen his brother do either. And that's what the promoters are going to start telling them. They're going to be like, look, we know you're looking out for your family, but...
Yeah. Same thing when Miguel came down here and we went to San Diego. I go, there aren't empty seats. Like, these little guys sold this place out. Like, it was shocking how full it was. And there are fight fans everywhere. They just want the right fights. I think that's the whole thing. Like, we just want the right fights.
Yeah, we want the right dudes against the right, we want the top against the top, and the names, take them to places like they did, this recently last night. I mean, with him in San Antonio, it's like, dude, you got to take them to the right markets, obviously, right? And San Antonio is obviously one of them with fucking we were kind of sort of knocking on Garcia earlier, but he's a Garcia fighter. He's got Garcia was in his corner. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, again, we're not seeing necessarily a Garcia style, but I mean, is this the kind of how can I explain it? I guess it's like a good omen for Joshua, for him to be like for Anthony Joshua. I'm saying, saying like, holy shit, I got myself, with a guy with Garcia who is now having these kinds of results with somebody like Bam Rodriguez.
But is it the skill of Bam?
It is. I mean, it is. But
it has nothing to do with Garcia.
No, it doesn't. But I won't say nothing completely. Nothing. I won't say nothing completely. But I wouldn't say nothing. I'm not trying to say nothing. But
it might be the title of this show. It's got nothing to do with Garcia. It ain't got shit to do. Like, but I think Bam's got natural skill. He's probably been doing this like Andrew's kid since he was like 4, learning how to throw punches. That was just plain natural. Like, his instincts were so great in the ring. Like, what I really like is efficiency in fighters, right? You only see it in the heavyweights and the lightweights. I don't know why the rest of them don't fight like this, but heavyweights and lightweights do the same thing. You know when to just kind of pity pat and play the game and ride the wave. And then when it's time, bring the heat. Like, and always, here we go again, Andrew. Here we go again. Jab, right hand, motherfucker. Make him eat a jab all frickin' day. I mean, I don't know what happens after the lightweight division where like everybody loses their mind and they like try these different styles, or you go to a Goosen gym and you don't throw jabs anymore. You just throw 500 punches around and exhaust yourself in your career. I mean, if you historically look at it, it's just little guys and big guys, and they all try to fight in that efficient way. I mean, that's what I saw last night. I mean, it was actually art, what I saw. That's as good a boxing as you can do against somebody who is fairly skilled. I mean,
and I think the most impressive thing, Lee, is the age. And that's what I want to keep bringing up about. He went up against one of the hardest hitting ex-champions that division has to offer. Rangan Vinsai is clearly the most dangerous fighter he's faced in his career. He's 22 years old. He's in front of his hometown, meaning friends and family are in the crowd. And you put in a performance like this, as long as this kid stays on the path and keeps doing what he's doing.
But so let's do a callback from early in the show. Tim Tszyu, same age.
Yeah, Tim Tszyu's been dropped by lesser opponents. Tim Tszyu doesn't have a title yet. He hasn't beaten a world champion yet. So I can't, no. Tim Tszyu's jumping the gun. I'm telling you, bro.
You don't want just what you just said. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, what Lee was just saying, the efficiency. It's the middle divisions that don't have it, and he doesn't have it. You know,
he doesn't have it. In that group, you can't joke with those people.
Yeah, you fucking
need it. The Charlos of this world will eat you for breakfast. Like, that is a bad jump, boy. I like the fact that he's going to fight Mozzarella or whatever the fuck the dude's name is. Take another fight, get yourself healthy, learn. Like, there is a steep increase in that division.
Yeah, very big increase.
I mean, from welterweight to middleweight to like look at the real beasts of these divisions. I mean, you got Charlo with all the belts, and he looked like it. Like, I wouldn't sign a fight.
And Lee, they have the type of power. You mess up one time, you're out of there. You're Raleigh Romero, okay?
Yeah.
That's what it would be.
That is exactly what that is. Same thing. I mean,
he did great. He did great until he had that one fucking moment where he was green, and Jermell will take your head off as soon as you get hit.
It's crazy to me. Like, boxing today, I'm glad all the belts are getting cleaned up. I am. But there's a steep drop off after the top 10. Like, even in the top 10, I wouldn't even give half those guys in the top 10 the time of day. I mean, the fact that we've got unified champions happening constantly, it says a lot about boxing. I mean, it took a while to get here. Like, we went through 5 or 10 years of just dog crap. Like, what are you doing with the PBC? Like, I mean, I'll even give them credit. Putting Luis Ortiz together with Andy Ruiz, right? Well, you're putting a bullet in somebody's head. I'm glad.
Right.
I
Taking
mean,
them out back, like I said,
you're taking one of them out back on this fight. I mean, didn't they do that to the kid from Ontario when he fought Andy Ruiz? I mean, you're basically just putting a bullet in his head. Like, it is what it is. Chris, what's his name?
Areola?
Yeah, Areola.
Yeah.
I mean, that was basically a bullet in the back of the head for Areola. Like, you got work, bro.
Yeah, and even still, he fucking knocked Ruiz down a couple of times. It's like, oh geez, maybe we're putting the bullet in the wrong person.
Yeah, I think there's some really interesting things happening throughout the summer.
We're also seeing the new generation that is coming. The lightweights have turned over. We've seen all the young prospects are now champions.
Oh no, Bam will be pound for pound champion tomorrow. I guarantee it.
Leave.
No.
Yeah, but in a way, he's hit. Better Beeve has now hit the pound for pound rankings. You know, Josh Taylor.
He's casual fans know about Inoue in a way. I mean, he is
I'm just saying
Unreal.
when you're saying boxing's going through a weird thing right now, it's a changeover, and these young guys are taking out all the old fighters, the guys that are hanging on to belts. Like it's just that's what's going on right now. If you look at the pound for pound ranking, it's kind of a bunch of new faces. Rodriguez might be added to that too, and he's only 22 years old. Soon, I didn't say tomorrow.
Mhm.
Did not say tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I said
It'll be
soon.
tomorrow. By the way,
Hey,
headline.
listen, I'm telling you right now, the hottest fight in San Antonio is going to be him versus Chocolito. It really is. That's going to be a huge. If they can sell out fucking Rungvisai, they're taking Chocolito to fucking Dallas.
Yeah,
There you go.
and that is the one. That's the fight to make, because they were talking about this earlier before we started recording. What's his name? Estrada. Gaito Estrada is basically, from what I understand, is going to fight Bam Rodriguez's brother, Joshua Franco, sometime in August, if I'm not mistaken. So
And
that,
you know what that builds up right there, right, Miguel?
Oh yes, of course. So we have that on that side, right? So I mean, that leaves what, Chocolatito basically free. So why not get Chocolatito and Bam Rodriguez in there? Like, why not do that? Yes, I get it. What Rodriguez is trying to say, leave those guys to his fucking, to his brother. But it's like, well, his brother's gonna be tied up for a little bit, and who the fuck knows if he's even gonna win? So might as well go in there and get your stake. And I'm sure by that same token, his brother's gonna understand. He's gonna be like, hey, if I can't do it, by all means, you go right ahead and you have have your try at it. So there's no point in holding up the rest of the weight division for that. But yeah, there's money to be made there, and I hope Rodriguez can take advantage of it as much as he can.
Go to boxingtonight.io and support our website. Follow us on social media. Follow him at Fight Fiend Migs. Follow me at Lee Honish. I almost have my voice back. We almost got Bob. And no matter what, Garcia doesn't do shit for fighters. That is going to be the title of the show. Garcia doesn't do shit for fighters.
Oh, don't be mean. Come on.
Oh, you can already see the banner going up, can't you, Andrew?
Keeps them tuned, man. He gets them in shape. They don't know.
Manny
Except Bam Bam Rios, right? He never made weight with the Garcias, but no, seriously, whenever you really hear them talking about Garcia's family, don't they always just really go back to Fernando? It's really the hat his dad fucking puts his career on, right? That's what Fernando Vargas. What the fuck? Fernando is not Oscar De La Hoya. He's actually the B-side to Oscar, right? He's a poor man's Oscar. So that
is he letting the kids train with Garcia, or is he training him?
No, he's not. No, and I can find that.
And that says a lot, right? Like,
yes.
So Fernando's training his 3 kids in a gym, and he didn't go back to Garcia.
Family from Oxnard, I know.
Or in Oxnard. I'm sure
they're all from Oxnard. Yeah, that is a weird one, Lee. Yeah, but you know what, you guys, as I've been following these 3 Fernando Vargas boys on social media, I really don't know if these guys are in it to be professional boxers or to be professional YouTube boxers. Okay, because they do a lot of
same difference. In this day and age, you've got to respect that.
Paul more than Fernando Vargas. That's just, they're all going to make money. Yeah, I get it.
We all want to be Mr. Beast and have 92 million followers and make $1 million a month from we all want the same thing. But if they've got a solid following, they're making a solid, I know what YouTube pays. Oh, they're getting paid.
They have a show. They have a reality TV show.
They had a show before, yeah.
And I've here's the thing, they've come to Fernando Vargas is here, if he lives here in Vegas. So his boys at the boxing gym that I go to, Capetillo's, I see them every so often. There. It has been a minute since I haven't seen them, but I never see anybody else. I don't see a Garcia with them or anything like that, of course. But I don't know who is technically their trainer, who isn't. I'm not sure. I haven't even really watched any of their fights to see who's in their corners when they go back to their corners at the end of the rounds. But they go in there and they bust their ass. They are busting their ass. They are going in there and getting the work done in the gym. But I've heard them talk on Paulie Malignaggi's podcast. I've heard them talk, and it just sounds like they're not 100% in it. Because they mentioned it a few times. They want to show people that they're more than boxers. Okay, great, but become a boxer first. It's get there first. Get
to celebrity.
Yeah,
That's
don't
right.
become a celebrity first. You know what I'm saying? It's just when I hear them say that, it's like, no, it sounds like there's 1 foot in when I'm 1 foot out. You can't be talking like that when you're fucking, 19, 20, whatever, however old they are. They have the skills, they have the pedigree because you can see it. Like you can watch them fight. It's like, damn, these guys really can get fucking down. And I mean, dare I say it, they're fucking better than their pops. You know what I'm saying? It's like, goddamn, you can see
Pops
it. What?
didn't do shit. I,
Well,
I
I
I
mean,
wish somebody would
he was
explain
an
what
Olympian. I
Pops
mean,
did.
he's an Olympian. It's a big deal. At the
Yeah.
very least, it did that though. So let the boys do that. And then think about something else. You want to start thinking about when you're at the top. You start thinking about other stuff, of course, obviously, right? Because you're already at the top, and you start thinking of other ways to make money because you realize that your career is only X amount of years. But don't do that now. It's almost like distracting before you even get to the top because you're probably hindering yourself already. But that I didn't like that the way they talked about that on the Malinaji podcast. It's like no, don't be celebrities yet. Be boxers. Then you get to the stardom.
I went and watched Fernando, 1996, the Henry J. Kaiser Center. My brother-in-law bought me tickets. Me and him went to go see Fernando and the amateurs. Because my brother, he used to talk about Fernando a lot. Fernando was on the Ring magazine before he was even he medaled or even went for a medal. He never medaled, but before he even went to the Olympics, he was already on the Ring magazine as like the Olympic hopeful that was going to win it all. So we went and seen him, and yeah, there was a big Oxnard following there. They were all cheering for him.
Oh, he's the king of Oxnard for sure.
Met Joe Frazier
and
was
by
there
the way,
that day.
I wouldn't mind being the king of San Diego. Okay, if you're the king of your city, cool. Like you can go anywhere, people buy drinks. It's wonderful. It's wherever he goes, he's getting free drinks. He's always getting free food. He's the king of Oxnard.
You know what was funny about that? And he probably is. I'm not, but what Fernando told us in an interview one time, he was doing an interview. Probably I was at the Mosley. I think when he fought Mosley in the rematch, he got knocked out by Mosley in the rematch. Correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
the rematch. Yeah, the first one it was that weird like swelling on his face that the fight had end.
Yeah, okay. So I was at that fight and they were interviewing Fernando and we were sitting on a round table and he was telling us about how the De La Hoya loss really destroyed his reputation in Oxnard. He was like, he goes, look, if any of you guys ever have you're able to create businesses or your kids or whatever, he goes, do not attach your name to it. He goes, because once they start hating you, no one's going to go to your business. And he said after that, he had fucking made that big old rivalry with Oscar De La Hoya, saying I'm more Mexican, I'm going to beat him up, I got bigger balls. And then he gets knocked out. He said no one went to his pizzerias. No one, I forget, he had like a real estate, pizzerias, and something else.
Oh, yeah, he's got all kinds of shit.
Wow.
Still does.
He had to actually like shut down and rebrand, and then bring them back because no one was going to the Vargas name anymore. Kind of sad.
It is.
Damn.
Go to boxingtonight.io.
Are you still trying to shut this show down?
Well, we can keep going. I've got a delivery coming in 5 minutes. Like you guys can keep talking. Like we'll keep recording for another hour, I suppose. But there really isn't any news, and I really do have a delivery coming.
One thing, Mayweather's in talks with Conor McGregor, the rematch. Have you guys heard that rumor?
No.
Yes, unfortunately. Good damn it.
It's got to kind of mean that Floyd is kind of getting hurt, right? Like what? Mm-hmm. Now we're going back. We're backtracking now.
Yeah, trying to go back to something that is proven, but back then, tries to basically whatever worked before, they made him a fuck ton of money and repeats, rinse and repeats, basically was trying to do.
Yeah,
and
I don't know why you wouldn't go Manny Pacquiao, who needs to.
Yes, at the very least, even if it's at some sort of exhibition, I don't give a shit. We'll see those
Manny
two names on the poster.
There were 8 people being elected for president. He came in 8th.
Like, hey, let me tell you right now that should be the title. Let's go ahead and start Floyd's comeback. Floyd, not McGregor. It should be Pacquiao versus Floyd too. They need to do.
Let me tell you how crazy, how sad it is to be Manny Pacquiao right now. I think he's stuck in that PBC contract. He can't get out of the damn contract. He literally came in 8th out of 8 people, including losing to a dictator's son. Like, that's the crazy part of this election in the Philippines. He lost to an actual dictator's kid. Wow. Wow, do you suck?
I gotta say that there's enough money in that fight still to be generated.
Oh, it's 100 million easy.
Wait, we talking about McGregor or Manny?
No, for Pacquiao,
Oh, okay,
Floyd
okay,
too.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, there's money in McGregor, Mayweather.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because there's money in that too, but I mean, not as much as before, of course, and it's going to be even more of a clown, like more of a circus than it is. There would be at least a little bit more legitimacy with a rematch with Manny. Why not? Just fucking just call it. You know, he's
Manny. Unfortunately, in my opinion, Manny has had a better career following the Mayweather defeat than McGregor has. If McGregor maybe would have had a solid win or comeback in the UFC, then I would say yes, there's money to be generated in that fight with Floyd. But I'm sorry, the guy has gotten his ass kicked way too many times in the octagon. Do they even take him serious? Like, I know he's good outside. He's a good interview. He yells, he cusses, he does all
now
that.
He's got alcohol. He's actually very diverted from everything. I don't even know what weight he's technically at anymore.
The UFC is forcing it. They're really forcing it. He's still at lightweight, which in MMA it's 155, so it'd be the equivalent of junior middleweight and boxing. But they still have him ranked somewhere, even though he hasn't won a fucking fight in God knows how many years. They're trying really hard. I mean, he had one victory against Cowboy Cerrone, which wasn't even at that weight class, and this was like a couple of years ago after the fight. But even still, people nutted their fucking pants over him beating somebody who's on the way out at a different weight class. He has yet to fight in that, or win, I should say, in that weight class again, the one that he's in, lightweight. So there, and somehow the UFC has him still ranked because they're just dying. They need that motherfucker. So it's just really sad that they're really pushing that and forcing it so bad. But I mean, dude, he has not had a legitimate win in I don't know how many fucking years. I don't know what, it's obvious that it's money, right? We always know this. It's obvious that he can do stuff outside of the octagon, the mouth that he has on him and every other business that he brings with him when he's in the octagon. So that's obviously the reason. So that's why I think there's still some sort of money to be made with him and fucking Mayweather. But God, for the sake of it, just please for fuck's sake, just let it go. It was over. It was done with. Just leave it as it is. There's no legitimacy in that whatsoever now.
Okay, I gotta go get my delivery.
Oh,
so do you want to end the show or do you want to carry the show?
No, we're good.
No, we're good.
All right, we're good. We're good.
Yes.
I'm gonna go get my stuff. All right.
Okay.